All right. The day is June 10th. What year is it? 2026. And I've had some experiences in the past month that have inspired me to think that I believe this video um, is necessary to make, that anyone thinking about hiring my company needs to watch. Our ideal client, and therefore your ideal provider, our ideal client is probably at their live stream mix, is probably at, I would say, 1.5, 2, 3 tops out of 10. That's the state of their current mix. So in other words, really bad. Our ideal client is going to be very happy with a 7 or an 8. And I say that because getting to a 9 or a 10, most people are not going to achieve 9 out of 10, and there are a lot of reasons for that. It could be, it is it's not even necessarily about how good your singers are or about how good your musicians play or the songs that play. It actually has very little to do with that. That last 9 and 10 is a game of inches. It's a game of, you've got the $1,200 microphone and not the $100 microphone or microphones. You know what I'm saying? It's about, a very nice, very well-tuned drum kit, like really good, isolated really well in the drum cage. It's about, you're making all of the right moves. You're doing all of the right things. You're communicating all of the right way. You're setting gain properly, impeccably, every service. You're doing line checks every service. Even if you're not changing musicians. It is getting everything right. Now, it's not to say that I feel that I can provide you a 10 mix every time, personally. Well, let me park it there for a minute. So how this works, the makeup of this company is I, the sole proprietor, owner, lead mix engineer, what I believe to be, whether I'm really good or whether I'm not, I'm definitely very experienced. I've done this a lot. I like to think on an absolute scale, I'm pretty good. I like to think that I'm pretty good. I can do good mixes. All the mixes on my website, I did. I'm proud of them. I think they're pretty good. Now here's what happens over the long term, how this works. I build out your mix. I build out the mix. One of my guys basically runs faders on a Sunday. Now, there are always going to be things like maybe this one Sunday, maybe the bass was a couple dB hot. Maybe it was a couple dB too low. Maybe there was this background vocalist that maybe you would have liked to be at a different level. There will be things like maybe somebody was a little slow on the draw. Pulling some wet effects back when some random singer or random whatever starts talking in the middle of a set, and that's kind of obnoxious. Things like this are going to happen. They're going to happen. My concern are patterns. My concern are not, did my engineer mess up one time? Did they have the wrong vocal up or down wrong for like a half a verse or maybe a whole verse and then they caught it? Things like that are going to happen. Things like I said, now the wrong vocal for a whole song, 3 services in a row, I'm very concerned about that. I'm dealing with that. And if you bring that to my attention, I will absolutely deal with that. Now, I would, I would, I would contextualize that with some understanding, which is I would encourage you to keep in mind that it may not necessarily be that all of my engineers are just literally like mainlining contemporary Christian modern music every day. A lot of churches are playing very new songs all the time. It may be that they don't know all these songs as well as you or I do. It may be that what's the melody and what's the third, what's the harmony, what's the low part, what's the high part, which one is the harmony. It could be that they don't necessarily instinctively know what that is. Now, I encourage them when they get a set list, if they get it in time, to look up the songs and familiarize themselves. But I feel that it's reasonable that things like that could happen. Now, things that I deem unacceptable, completely unacceptable, that I would never expect someone to pay for, that I would definitely credit you for, would be number one, a guy didn't show because he was sick, or he called in sick last minute and I had to have this happen. Like 8 o'clock on a Sunday, I'm sick, I've had a family emergency, I just had this happen. Had to go to the churches and say, I can't get this covered in time, I won't charge you for this, I'm sorry. Like, these things happen. I would, you know what I'm saying? I don't expect somebody to pay for that. These things happen. I can't make you some promise that they don't happen long term. My goal would be to have plenty floaters to cover last minute that are just basically paid salaries, and that doesn't happen. I'm working on that. I don't have that in place right now, but I am working on it. If it's happening, really, you wouldn't even know because it would be taken care of, and you'd just be like, oh, well, the service worked fine. You know what I'm saying? But so here's the thing. So I've said all this to say, this is year 7 for me in providing these services to churches. And I have found there are two, I won't say just two, but there are two major archetypes of clients. And one of them, number one, which is the one that I personally prefer, is people who act like Christians, for one. They understand that things happen. They have, you know what I'm saying? They're very happy for a overall big improvement. Now, no one should ever accept, like I said, no sound at all, or the sound is super distorted and nobody caught it, or the wrong vocal, like the pastor's mic was muted for 20 minutes. No one should accept that. I'm not trying to prime people or groom people to be okay with things like that. That's not what I'm saying at all. But then there's the other clientele that, and I found, if I'm being honest, the likelihood of this being a person on the other side gets higher as a church gets bigger. And this particular person, this particular worship leader, this particular pastor feels that if there's the tiniest issue, souls are not going to be saved. If this issue happens, there has to be an explanation for why it happened, and there has to be guarantees that it will never happen again, or pounds of flesh will be taken, money will be withheld, cancellations will fly. There are types of worship leaders who think that we're making a record every week, and it's got to sound like a record, and all of those things that I said before, like a bass was a little loud, there was a little bit of this and a little bit of that. These things that are probably going to happen for a lot of reasons. For a lot of reasons, those things are not acceptable. They cannot happen. The bar is, everything has got to be right where they want it every week. And if we don't achieve that, we have failed. Me and my team have failed. I'm not going to run you away. I'm not going to tell you. And here's the thing. If that's you, you're probably not very self-aware. They never are. I'm just going to be honest. Like, all of the people that I've ran into like that, you can't tell them anything. They need a lot of therapy. It's not that I don't understand creative integrity, but I also understand we're going to do this 52 times a year. They're all not going to be fire. They're just not, guys. You're not going to be fire. 52 times a week. None of us are. We're going to have ups and downs. There are people out there, like I said, that are trying to make a record every Sunday. This is not going to be a record. It's just not. Again, I'm going to bookend this video by saying, oh, I need to finish my last statement. I'm not going to run you away if that's you. I'm not going to tell you I don't want your business. I will tell you, if you give me your business, I'm not going to mince words with you at all. I'm going to be very honest with you. If you start showing signs, honesty will be imparted from me, and that will happen. I am going to tell you I'm very confident you will not be happy, and I'll be honest with you. If I start seeing signs you're one of these people, my time is going to be relegated to other people, if I'm just being honest with you, people who are easier to deal with. It's just what I have to do. My goal, my vision for my business is I want to help as many people as possible. I want to help as many people as possible. I want to, when my kids check me in the nursing home, I want to have helped tens of hundreds of thousands of churches, helping them reach their community, share the gospel, all that good stuff. That's what I want to do. I'm not trying to make you a record every week. Like, I'm just not. That's not my goal. That's not what I'm trying to do. I've done all of that. I can't do it. I have the ability to do it. Those aren't my aspirations in my business. My business, if I'm being honest, is a lot kind of like just being a person providing a utility, like an electrician or an HVAC guy. I think of myself a lot like those guys. It's just you have a need, you can't do it, you need a professional, you need this to be good, be palatable for your online community. That's how I think of myself. Like I said, you can look at my website. I'm definitely not bad, but I'm not trying to scratch creative itches in my business. I'm trying to help people. And again, I think I've made my point pretty clear here. Things are going to happen. They are going to happen. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. They will happen. Issues will happen. We'll have people who can't make it one day. Things happen. You know what I'm saying? And I'm saying all this because all of these archetypes that I'm talking about, I've dealt with them all many times. And I feel this now 13-minute long video. I feel that it's necessary that I make. And honestly, I'm gonna, like, this is new. This is like 6 months newer than a lot of these other videos here. I'm gonna bump this up because I think everybody needs to watch this. I hope it's engaging. I hope you get through all of it. But that being said, if you even got through half of this, it should be very clear. Even if you don't concur about my assessment of which archetype you are, yeah, hopefully you are clear about me and what my goals are and where my priorities are and where they're not. So yeah, I'm an authentic person, in the immortal words of Fancy's mama, whose name is lost and it was never recorded or written. To thine own self be true. And that is the life that I live, and I don't apologize to anybody for it. And that's what you're going to get from me. And honestly, that's what you need, because if you're at a 2 or a 3, you need some honesty. I can't do my job if a doctor can't help you get better if you want to go to the doctor and get your butt kissed. That's my job. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, I've rambled on long enough. Hopefully you got through this. Hopefully you appreciate it. There's many more here that are a lot lighter and a lot less heavy than this video. The rest of it's pretty just mundane, basic stuff. So anyway, I'm going to shut up. On to the next one.